All right, introducing our new rifle, which is the Berthier Mle. And now James Delaney will probably be very happy to hear that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
92.
Travantos. We were going all out. You went all out for this. You were literally practicing this before the stream to make sure that this was said right. And I know it was because you wanted to make sure that James had nothing to say about Dennis's poor pronunciation in French. So, do you want to give us the name there one more time? Berthier.
The
Berthier.
Berthier Model 92, right? And so this is basically our new long ammo rifle. It's so to say, it's like the little cousin of the Lebel rifle. So it comes with more as a carbine type of version. So shorter, more compact. It has a 3-round capacity, but we're going to go through that a little bit in a second.
Cool. So yeah, let's go through the little details of it. So as we said, introducing the Berthier Model 92. And as Dennis mentioned, it's a large slot, long ammo carbine rifle. So, do you want to go into a bit more detail on it there, Dennis?
Yeah, so basically, this rifle has something that the other rifles so far we have in the game don't have, which is basically it comes with an enclosed so-called N-block type of magazine. That means you have the 3 rounds that it loads with encapsulated into its own little magazine that you insert, and as such, that magazine has to be discarded once the rounds are being fired off. I'll explain a little bit more on that in a second to give you the dry mechanical things, and then we're going to talk about what it actually means for you in the game and how you want to use it. So it's a very lightweight weapon. It's powerful, and as such, it kind of sits a little bit in the same family as the Mosin Nagant as well as the Lebel 1886 rifles. Think of it as a variety in that family. It brings a couple of things new to the table. It also might have some drawbacks compared to the other weapons, so it comes down to variety and choice primarily, whether you want to use the Lebel, the Mosin, or this new rifle. And yeah, it gives you basically more flexibility in how to play your loadouts.
That's awesome.
There's yeah, just go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm just saying it's really awesome. It's such a nice looking weapon, and we've got a few videos showing it in action and a couple of more pictures there. But do you want to? Was there something else you wanted to mention before we move on to the?
No, just move on the stuff we see all in there.
Cool. So we go through the awesomely beautiful table renders, and you can see just it's a beautiful machine. And we've got a little fun history fact that Dennis gave me on this, and I knew I was like, come on, we'll teach people stuff. We'll give them a fun history fact for the day. So, fun history fact, Dennis, if you would.
It's basically like this is, as I said, like it's a smaller cousin to the Lebel rifle, and like in the French military when it was introduced, it was kind of like meant to be a rear echelon / cavalry troop type of equipment. So like as you would in modern days, maybe give like the rear troops like more of a carbine type of version, like short stock, etc., shorter barrel. Back then, that concept was already there. So this was meant to be the weapon of choice for the artillery, for the cavalry, for the rear troops, and as such isn't as quite as long as powerful as cumbersome as a Lebel, a full-blown Lebel rifle, but it does have its advantages because of its compactness, and that's something which we try to reflect in its flexibility when we get to that.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of aspects to this. It's not just your everyday simple weapon where it has this many bullets and it does this and it does this. We have, there's a bit more complexity to it. So one of the first things we'll go into is the loading mechanism itself. So do you want
Yeah, so this weapon is actually pretty interesting because for you as a player, it means choice. It means certain commitments you have to make. Like where with the other rifles, you can easily top them up usually, right? Just like open up the bolt, put another one on top, maybe even a stripper clip if you have enough space for it. So they're easier to handle. Like with this weapon, you're actually kind of committed. The moment you put a 3-round clip in, you have to shoot the 3 rounds. Otherwise, it will take quite some time and it's quite awkward to actually remove this clip again. So very often it comes down to being the best option, just fire the last round to get a quick and easy another clip in, instead of just kind of fumble with the mechanism, trying to unhook that magazine, pull it out, and kind of like remove it manually. So your choice will be, in order to, you want to accept the longer reload time if you want to like actually get that clip out if you don't finish it, or if you want to just like finish and lose that maybe 1 round against a tree or against a wall, whatever, just in order to be able to continue shooting a little bit faster. So this will be a very interesting, just because it opens up a completely different way of playing with long ammo rifles, where you have to kind of consider at what moment do we really want to go for the reload.
Yeah. So if we see there, the next line, it shows that once the last round is chambered, the clip will auto eject. And
yeah,
It
So
ejects
the,
from the bottom, like the point.
so yeah, it kind of falls out. Like you have seen something similar with the Bornheim pistol already in the game, right? Where you kind of load the clip into the magazine, and then once the last bullet is kind of chambered, like there's nothing that kind of holds the clip, so it kind of falls out at the bottom. And it's the same mechanism you will see on the Berthier rifle, when you kind of chamber the last round from the 3-round clip. At that point, the whole thing falls down and out of the gun. So that also clears up the space, which means it's just very, very easy. Just open up afterwards and just put like a new fresh clip right in there from the top, and gives you a fast reload option that way. It's something which actually a lot of rifles at the time had, like I think there was like the Kakana rifle, the German Gewehr 88, etc. Like lots of these weapons at that time kind of had this mechanism, but the Berthier makes it really interesting because of its really 3-round capacity, as it's something very different and makes the player choose a lot more when to actually use the rounds. We didn't want to just like get like another 5-round rifle.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of them, so it's definitely this is gonna be a nice addition to the arsenal, I think. So leading on from the loading mechanism, it's probably best to actually go into the reloading side of things because there's a bit to it. It's not just as simple as pop in the stripper clip like in others or one bullet at a time. So yeah, do you want to take us through that? So
Yeah, so basically, the interesting part with this weapon is that what if you just fire 1 round, right? So you have 3 rounds, you just fired 1, you want to reload. That actually means that in the case of the Berthier, if you now reload the weapon and you don't have bullet grabber, you're going to lose 2 rounds because 1 will be just ejected as you open up, and then you actually have to remove the entire clip with the round and then put a new one in. So you just discard that all. That means this weapon can drain your ammo count quite rapidly if
yeah,
you just keep on reloading after every shot, right? So it's something you have to be very aware and very conscious with in terms of when you want to do the reloading.
yeah,
That means also like then having bullet grabber actually makes the whole thing a lot more interesting, as it can save you both the round that is being ejected, is to snatch it out of the air again, and also then the magazine with the remaining round that you would normally dump to.
cool. Yeah. No, I mean, we have some videos to show in a few minutes, so we can kind of give an idea of how it looks when with and without traits, so you can really get to kind of see it. But one of the things there is like because of the complex loading system is partial reloads, like you said, they take longer, so it's
Yeah.
faster to remain firing the rounds or fire the remaining rounds and then rather than performing a full reload. So yeah, this reload system is not it's not like any of the other rifles that we have at the moment, as far as I'm aware anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dennis.
No, it's kind of fresh, and that's an interesting part about it. It kind of fits like a niche. It's not just like another gun of the same type. It actually brings something new to the table, and there's going to be even more we're going to talk about in a second about it.
Yeah. So the next thing is the interrupting shots. So this is something that
Yeah,
you
as
could actually do.
yeah, it's like this mechanism we have like on the Lebel and on the Mosin, etc., where you can kind of interrupt the shot with a reload in order to like not have to open up, lose the round, and then close it again, open it up again, reload. You kind of do this in one smooth motion. It's a thing we added in one of the last updates, but that is actually not possible with this gun so easily here, just because again of that physicality of this end block and how it kind of like sits there inside the weapon. You need to remove that first before you can just quickly move and interact with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so unless you have bullet grubber, which is obviously going to be able to help you regain some of those rounds. But we suggest best to reload with care. Good timing will ensure that it's a fast and competitive choice in comparison to the others in the category.
yeah, enough talking. Let's show them.
Yeah, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Here it is. Like the sound.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Okay, so that cycled through the whole thing there. So like what we saw at the start was the emptying the 3 rounds and then the full reload, and then going through the reload when there's still a round left in the weapon. So go
Yeah,
through it once more.
it's like surprisingly fast when you do that, right? Like so, it just like a super clip reload with the Mosin, just a little bit faster even than that.
Yeah.
So, which means you can actually in practice have a very, very high rate of fire with this gun continuously, as it just basically quickly insert like another 3 rounds once you're finished.
Yeah. And then we go from here, and I'm going to kind of do this a little bit slower so that we can kind of see things. So it's going to fire off 2 shots, and then do a reload of the manual reload of the clip. So there's 1 and 2, and here we have the reload of the clip itself, and you
So
notice
like,
the bullet fly off.
which still allows us to just insert like the magazine rather quickly.
And
Now
there
the
you see
interesting,
it. There was an
yeah,
interesting bit there. So there you see it with 2 unspent rounds in the clip.
yeah. So basically, one kicks out as you open, and the other one is being thrown out together with the on block clip, just to make room so you can insert the new one.
Yeah. So
All right,
finish it off, and that's that.
let's have a look at it when you actually do have bullet grubber.
I think maybe this is the same video again. Yes, it is. So we'll skip on to the next one. Sorry about that. So this is with bullet grubber.
Since you again, like first example, just 1 round remaining, so you can snatch it over the air, put the new block in, and ready to go. Kind of like as you would have expected. The interesting part is here, 2 rounds left. So you first catch the round, then you catch the actual
Second
magazine.
round.
So you
Yeah.
save both rounds and just put like a new fresh clip in.
That's pretty awesome, and that's where we go. That's what we were talking about with the importance of bullet grubber. With this, you gain such a much more versatility out of bullet grubber with this weapon, and like we'll go through it there once more again, just so everyone can see it. I see a lot of people in chat going, "That is awesome," and quite a sexy reload animation, and I have to agree. It is looking pretty good.
There's a question about whether the Berthier is a medium slot weapon. No, it's not. It's a full-sized rifle, so it's stock, long barrel, everything. So it's on the same level as the Mosin and the Labelle rifle, but it basically just offers you a different play style with it. So think of it as variety within that family, just like, for example, there's variety between the Sparks and the Martini Henry.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move on to the next part, and we talk about ammo switching.
Yeah, so this is actually like one of the most interesting things about this
Yeah.
gun because, we have the rule in the game at the moment where we say we only really allow ammo switching if you have a single shot weapon, right? You press the X button, you can toggle between 2 types of ammunition if you pre-equip them, and that gives those weapons flexibility. Now, the interesting part about the Berthier rifle is that in order for you to kind of load anything new into it, you have to fully empty it. And that opens up the opportunity for us to actually make this the first rifle that has more than 1 round that can actually swap ammunition.
Yeah.
So this is really where this weapon shines, as it can give you flexibility on a level that like a Sparks or Martini Henry bring, but it does so by having multiple rounds to fire in the same weapon.
Yeah.
And this is really the differentiating factor that really sets this weapon apart, besides obviously like smaller deviations in damage, recoil, control, fire rate, that type of stuff. But this is the functionality that really sets this apart.
Yeah. So yeah, this clip, I'm just the fact that we've added this with a rifle is just like, yeah, this is amazing in my opinion. So the one extra point there, just that the clip must be removed before you perform a reload to switch to the other ammo types.
Yeah, that's also the reason why like swapping ammo types, obviously there's like an animation if you press the button, actually takes a little bit longer than on the other weapons, just because it has to go through this process. It has to do so more carefully, because what we don't want is that by pressing the X button to swap ammo type, you actually are suffering from losing ammunition, right? That like the weapons, they usually don't have that many rounds anyways. So for just swapping between the 2 types, you make sure that nothing is lost, but that means everything has to happen at a much slower speed so that you don't like let go of the bullet and kind of catch everything properly. Not as much as in style as it is for the bullet grabber animations, but still so that you kind of like put everything that is in the gun into your pockets and then reload it with the other type. So swapping ammo types can take a little bit longer, much longer than if you were to go through like the normal reload process. But it is one way for obviously like for you to kind of like top up the weapon by unloading everything, swapping ammo types, and then swapping them again in order to be there with a full round. But I guess in this case, you probably would have already reloaded anyways. It takes quite some time.
Yeah, I see a few people in the chat going, "Oh, possible new favorite," and the long rifles coming into play here. So it'll be interesting to see exactly once everyone gets their hands on it, exactly how they feel about it. And again, like we always say, we love the feedback you guys give us, so make sure you give us lots of it once it's gone onto the test server. And I think one of the last points I think we have on this, it'd be the ammo types that actually come with it. So obviously we've mentioned, it has the first rifle that has the ability to switch between ammo types. So let's see what is available.
Yeah, so I think didn't we have like a video about that part even? Like
Um,
showing that? I think that would be nice to show if there's.
I do not. No, I do not.
Okay.
So
Then you will have to see it on a test server.
yes, yes, that was
Um,
one I forgot. So
it's all right. People can check it out on a test server. Now, when it comes to the ammo types, I mean, the Berthier rifle is shooting exactly or firing the exact same round as the Lebel, like historically mechanically, right? Like it's the same French like origin cartridge that's being used for that. It just obviously has a different performance because it's being shot from a different gun, like different barrel length, like the way it can kind of like build up power as it goes through, etc. So that means also that it has the same custom ammo types as a Lebel. That's primarily it's going to be the Spitzer ammunition as well as the incendiary ammunition.
and there we go. There's all three of them.
Yeah, and so basically that means you get them like in packs of 6 with a total capacity of extra 12, obviously. Then keep in mind though that on the weapon, like the first you're priming around, basically whatever you choose first is the one that's loaded into the weapon by default. So that one actually gets like an additional reload inside the weapon. So you will not have 6.6, you will actually have 9.6 depending on which ones you choose. As like the extra capacity is always the same, plus then whatever's loaded for the initial round. So depending
Yeah.
if you want to have basic Spitzer and Sentry first, that's the one you should equip first. And it might be that on a test server initially that might not be fully resolved yet. There might still be some ammo count issues, so you might actually
Yes.
get like 3 more rounds or so on it on the initial test server, but that will all be streamed like streamlined and smoothed out by before it hits on the live servers.
Yes. Indeed. Indeed. And I believe that is everything. Really, all the main stuff to cover with the Berthier for today. So really, really awesome addition. Excited to get my hands on it in actual live matches. I'm sure a lot of the community are as well. Off the top of your head, Dennis, are you aware of its cost?
I am not top of my head, but if you give me 1 second, I can say for sure because before I throw any numbers around here.
Yep. Because I see you've got a bunch of people asking how much it costs. So um,
Yes, so we added the Berthier at rank 62 for $356.
cool, awesome. So yeah,
So
so
it's the
that
it's the it's the first bolt action long rifle ammo like weapon you can get your hands on in an unlock progression, and price wise also it sits a little bit lower than the other two rifles.
cool. So, like we said, very flexible, very competitive. So it's going to be interesting to see how everyone is once they get their hands on it.